everyone, thanks for visiting our website, rebuilderinAbox.com. In this video we're going to learn about the PG260 series starter. The PG260 is classified into 6 different letter groups: D, F1, F2, M, H, and L. Even though they appear differently, the internal parts are very similar, although non-interchangeable. The structures and the ways that they are rebuilt are all the same. Most have the same solenoid, although it can be positioned 3 different ways. On the very newer ones, they're basically the same, except for a pin with a weather-tight fitting instead of the post. Some have internal bolts holding them together, and some have the external bolts holding them together, but the structures are basically the same. We're going to send you an E5 with the kit, and we recommend grinding the fat part of it out of the way to aid in taking the solenoid off. So to take the solenoid off, first find the lead wire coming up out of the starter, going to the bottom motor post. Take that off with the 13 millimeter. And then you'll see the 3 bolts holding the solenoid on that you need to take off with the E5. Lift it up a little bit and you'll see the notch that comes right out. Then we have the 2 E6s on top. These ground the brush holder, and the 2 5/16 through bolts here and here that we need to take out. If you don't have an E6, you can probably get a pair of vice grips to get those star heads off. Then I'm going to take the lid off. Take the brushes out. The armature comes up. And the magnetic housing comes loose. And there's a cover. And down inside that, you can see the black grommet, a pad, and the 3 planetaries. Right at this point, we're going to pull the rubber grommet out, the water seal for the solenoid, the rubber cushion, and take the 3 planetaries out. Then you can pretty much just give it a tap. And the whole thing falls out. There's a steel plug that lays on the bottom of the rubber grommet. Now we're going to show you how to take the snap ring off, the snap ring assembly, so we can put a new Bendix on. And interestingly enough, this is the one section that, with all the developments on our modern technology, this is one thing that they actually used their brain on and left this the same down through the years. This is actually the same snap ring assembly that's used clear back in the 70s in the early 10MT starters. First thing you do is take the lid off. Then I'm going to take a pair of channel locks and hit on the side of the cup retainer. Then we take the channel locks, push the snap ring over to one side, and stretch it up so it can come off. Then the cup retainer comes off. And the Bendix comes straight off. So we have these three parts that go back together after we put the new Bendix on the shaft. The cup retainer goes on the bottom with the open side up. Then the snap ring goes in, and the lid has an extrusion on the bottom. That goes down so that the flatness is up against the drive-in housing, the nose cone. So here's the shaft with the outer planetary. And by the way, you have to inspect the plastic gears to make sure that none of them have been stripped out or ruined. So we put the Bendix on. Then we're putting the cup retainer on with the open side up. And there's a trick to getting the snap ring on. Set the snap ring on top, and then get a 7/16 socket. Set it right exactly on top, and then tap it down with the hammer. So it's just started on the very top of it. Then take the channel locks, open them up to roughly the size of the shaft, and use them to push it the rest of the way down till it snaps into place. Then we're going to use the same channel locks, push the snap ring over to one side. And set the channel locks on like this. And pry upward so that one side snaps in place. Then turn it around and use the channel locks to roll it the rest of the way in. Then put the lid on. With the extrusion side down and the flat side up. And put a small dab of lithium grease to hold everything in place. Usually the only bushing that we have to replace in these is the drive-in housing bushing. To get the old bushing out, you take a center punch and tap a hole, smack a hole right in the very center. Then drill it out with a 1/4 inch drill. Then drill it out with a 1/2 inch drill. Then take a 1/4 inch by 6 inch extension and tap it out. There's two different bushings that go in the Delco drive-in housing.